Hi, I'm Michelle. Welcome to my channel, Guided Metanoia. This reading is for Aries. Hi, Aries. I'm new to YouTube, so thanks for checking out my channel and watching your reading. I'm a certified holistic life coach, and I've been reading tarot since I was 13, and I've been studying astrology for about a half a decade now. And I just feel like I'm at a stage in my own personal transformation journey that I feel ready to put all of my skills in one finite place, and that is here on my channel. So thanks for joining me. What I want to do for you guys is I am going to look at your chart. While I was shuffling the cards before I started and turned on my camera, a few cards came out. So I'm going to leave them, and I want to go over your planetary alignments, and then I will circle back to the tarot, and then we'll pull an oracle card, and then that'll be that. So that's the plan. Give me 1 second. You have Chiron in your first house, which is bringing you, I think, opportunities to remove old and outdated self-limiting beliefs. If you don't know what a self-limiting belief is, I will be writing articles in the future about those kind of things, but just briefly to cover it so you understand what I'm talking about. A self-limiting belief is a belief that limits you personally. So when you say, like, I can't dance, that's a self-limiting belief. You may have had experiences where dancing was difficult for you, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it. So I think Chiron is going to be exposing areas that that promote your ability to exceed your normal expectations for yourself. And Chiron is being the wounded healer. I just kind of want to remind people, like, healing is not always this Reiki hands over you, soft, nurturing healing. Sometimes healing comes through radical karma. And that's possible for you. So it's possible for anyone, not just you specifically. The second house, you have Uranus in your second house in Taurus. That really speaks to money, your sense of worth. And Uranus is a very erratic planet. It makes very abrupt moves, and I should remind you that it is for the greater good of things. So while you're doing this work on your self-limiting beliefs, I kind of see Uranus as being like, well, let's put it to the test. Try this. So changes around your work could suddenly end. You could have new opportunities. You could have multiple opportunities. Uranus is a 7-year transit. The thing is, it doesn't come necessarily with any, sorry, I know you can hear my dog. It doesn't come with a heads up, okay? And I don't know that you would probably want it to anyway. So go with the natural flow of things and let Uranus do its work, and just go along for the ride is what I want to tell you. So you can expect changes around your money. You can expect changes around your employment, your job opportunities, avenues of income. Your third house, Venus and the Sun are in Gemini, and that really speaks to your ability to communicate in a very loving and affectionate and tender kind of way. With the Sun being there, you may even have new insight about the way in which you love and love to be loved and communicate your love. But Gemini is an extra kind of sign. You will feel extra flirtatious. You will feel extra sexy. You will feel extra charismatic with these kind of transits. So enjoy that, because I know a few Aries, and they are some of the most colorful, vibrant people. And so that Venus and the Sun in Gemini is going to give you the opportunity to really showcase your wonderfulness. In your fourth house, we've got Mercury. I'm looking at a chart for June 9th, by the way. I feel like that's a pretty good median time for the reading that I'm doing for you guys. Mercury is in Cancer and Mars is in Cancer, and the North Node, or Rahu, is in your 4th house, and your 4th house is home and family. And not just your home, places that you consider to feel like home. And that includes being in the body. So with Mars in that particular place, there is this get up and go. If you have had a to-do list, you will start tackling things on the to-do list at home. You will be, I'm going to fix the closet door. I have to fix the washing machine. I've got to call a plumber, things like that I could see being done with that particular transit. With Mercury there, it does speak to extra communication in the home. I think it will be loving communication because of that Venus placement for you. But there is a possibility that things could become a little exaggerated, inflamed even, because Mars is there. There could be wanting to pursue conversations that have been necessary for some time. Because it's in the sign of Cancer, I'm kind of making everybody aware, it does speak to the mother and anyone that you consider to be like a mother. So if you find yourself in a situation where the conversation gets a little escalated, I would tell you that it's very likely that it's more about you than it is about them, and you should check yourself. I'll just say that right now. In your 5th house, I don't see anything. Thank you. In your 5th house, I don't see anything in particular that is going to inhibit you from experiencing your ability to express yourself and enjoy fun and creative projects. Your 6th house, again, there are no conflicting transits. Your health seems like it's in a very good and stable place. You are the opposing side of me. My sun is in Libra, and I don't see anything aside from the Chiron transit that would show up in sort of having a mirroring quality. In other words, the healing that you're doing with you and who you think you are and who you want to be in the world. And 1st house, the house of the self, the I, that mirroring quality may come up in your interactions with other people. And that will only provide you with greater opportunities to begin to accept yourself in ways that you haven't before. Your 8th house, again, there's really not too much going on between Leo to Scorpio during this particular time. So 8th house being death and other people's money, things are going to remain stable. So any changes that have been happening there. Of course, I should put a disclaimer that depending on your birth chart, depending on the transits of your birth chart, that could be different for you. If you have very specific transits in those areas in your birth chart, that's going to look a little bit different for you. In your 9th house is hopes and wishes and community and groups and group involvement. You have Jupiter going retrograde. You've had a lot of experiences to meet different types of people and to interact with different kinds of groups since November. This Jupiter retrograde is going to give you an opportunity to sit back and evaluate your work. What have you enjoyed? What have you learned? What do you want to continue to invest in? So use the Jupiter retrograde for a sense of self-reflection. And I've been telling that to a lot of the other signs as well. Did I mess up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Your 10th house. Sorry, I'm dyslexic actually. And so I can't do quick mathematical equations like my brain goes, what? Yes, anyway, moving right along. Your 10th house. Your career is asking you to step forward in a very disciplined way. You may be entering leadership positions. You may be given greater control in certain areas. And Pluto is going to move pieces out of the way for you to fill in the most productive sense. Saturn is going to give you the sense of discipline and control and will be there in your 10th house through 2020. And you may have to establish very good routines around your career and your work efforts. You may be far more disciplined than you've ever been about your career in general. And Pluto does have a similar fashion to Uranus in the sense that it's going to shake stuff up, but it's really there to help transform your purpose. And just know that if you haven't been able to make the space, that Pluto will do it for you. And that can mean, you know, people will be removed from their positions and things will shift. And so the South Node is also there, which really speaks to that sort of paternal energy, that fatherly energy, where you have got to set the tone, so to speak, in those areas. And if you're not directly overseeing other people, this is specifically just for you. This is about you getting real with you in a way that you take your career and profession seriously. I don't always view the 10th house, in terms of career though, because the 10th house speaks to, does have inflections of life purpose work. So if you don't have a job, this doesn't mean you're not doing any work. This just means you've got to set up the discipline that you need to utilize your life purpose. Nobody's going to do it for you. I'm realizing that I've confused the Jupiter transit in your 9th house with the meanings of the 11th house. So I want to take a step back. Sagittarius, the Jupiter retrograde in Sagittarius is asking you to reflect on what you are learning. Are you enhancing your skills? This also speaks to higher learning in the sense of connecting with something greater than yourself, divination and faith and religion. Those are things that you are experiencing you are experiencing blessings. And if you're getting opportunities to learn and enhance your skills, especially those that could end up being utilized in your career, it's saying, you know, what do you want to learn more about? What do you want to grow? What do you want to expand? And Jupiter is going to be there to give you the opportunities to do that. So I apologize. I don't know why that happened. The 11th house of your community, I don't see anything that is going to create any instability in any way. So things are going good with your groups. And in your 12th house, you have Neptune. So that sense of self is, how do I describe that? It's kind of like looking at yourself in the mirror. You know, like when you take a shower and you go to step out and you go to look at yourself in the mirror, but the mirror is coated in the humidity that's been in the air from your shower. And you can see the shape and form, but it doesn't have a lot of detail. And you trust that it's you because you're looking into a mirror. But you cannot see yourself with great clarity. The Neptune transit in Pisces has that effect on you. It is also bringing up things that you have kept in a very deep and dark place for a very long time that may not be as you've remembered them to be, if that makes sense. And just remember that memories are coded with an emotional sort of fingerprinting before they're locked away in the channels of the mind. And so when you review those memories and you review those tapes, the information that's in them is not necessarily the truth. They may reflect your truth, but they may not be the truth. So that 12th house transit, Lilith and Neptune being in Pisces, is going to bring up not only interactions and experiences and perhaps even people. The term hidden enemies comes to mind. And I don't mean that in a scary way, but you're going to view them as an enemy because this particular person is going to come in and they're going to say something that stirs up a memory of a thing from another time when you saw yourself in another way, and then you've got to gravel with the gap that's been created from who you were to who you are now. And then it's going to, I think, make you question, like, well, am I really the way that I am now? If that's who I was, is that still a part of me? So that kind of work is going to be going on, and that feels very intense. And if you're the kind of independent individual that you might be, especially in terms of your healing, I would tell you to do work with Carl Jung and learn about your shadow side, because I think that the subject matter of that particular sense of psychology will contribute to how you're able to heal yourself, perhaps even the pace at which you heal yourself, and certainly the depths at which you are able to heal yourself. So I pulled your cards, and let's go over your tarot now. First card pulled, 10 of Cups. That's beautiful. That's wonderful. The water speaks to the unconscious, and having the 10 of Cups really speaks to experiencing a sense of fulfillment in a way where you know all the pieces are in place. And so this can either be your current state where you are just thoroughly enjoying a happy home life, but this could also speak to this is the thing that you're consistently striving for. Then we fold the King of Swords in reverse. King of Swords in reverse speaks to it can speak to a certain fixed mental energy that is perhaps needed but not acquired. This person has very erratic thinking. This person is having a hard time making decisions. This person is having a hard time keeping control of their mind space. If you are dealing with an Aquarius, this is the energy that they're representing. This is the way in which you see them in particular. You know, this is also interrupted thinking and clouded thinking. And so this could even speak to the energies that are coming up through your 12th house, where that Neptune and Lilith transit is. Six of Pentacles in reverse. So money things are changing, and we knew that because of Uranus in your second house. But this card always has sort of a confusing energy because it feels very blocked to me. It feels like I don't know who's giving what, and if it's considered fair, and if it holds the same sort of weight between the two people that are exchanging things. I think you're probably having to give a little bit more than you're used to or that you're comfortable with, and I think it's probably been very demanding, and I think that it requires a completely different sense of groundedness than you've had to before. It may require even more time. Certain things, for you to get the effects that you want, may be requiring a lot more investment of your time and energy than you're comfortable with and that you're used to. Because you guys keep a pace that, a very productive pace that I admire. Then we have the Queen of Cups in reverse, and this is if this isn't you, this is a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio individual. When I see this card, I am reminded about the energies that are in Cancer in your 4th house of home and family. And what this is telling me is that you are overcome with your emotions at this particular time. Emotional intelligence and emotional processing may not be something that you're familiar with. And so when certain emotions are stirred up, you may not know what to do with them. And you may be trying to just sort of want them to get away, go away, push them away, run away from them. And the thing is, there's a lot of valuable information that is kept in the unconscious and through your sense of feeling. that is there for you to look at, but you have got to want to take the time to unplug and disconnect from people and go into a private space where you can be with your feelings. I also want to say that the ability for you to connect with your intuition is available to you, but because you have not put your emotions, you have not built a language with your emotions, that is probably going to be very difficult for you. And if this isn't you, and this is that Mars in Cancer, the maternal figure that you're dealing with is the person that you see as being sort of like in the wrong. This person is in the wrong and you want to make them wrong. And as a Libra, I want to tell you that's purely a matter of perspective. And it's all in how you want to see whose truth. And it's not like whose truth weighs over the other, because that's like putting it's like evaluating somebody's suffering. Like, suffering is suffering, truth is truth. So just keep that in mind, because I don't think that you're able to see that in that particular way. Then we've pulled the Four of Pentacles in reverse, and that comes under the Ten of Cups. And I think you're able to experience this new harmony at home because you're being a lot less fixed about what needs to be where and how things need to be. And you're releasing yourself from the tensions of how things should be, maybe even the opinions of other people. And however, it does have this very ungrounded quality, but I'm okay with it. And I think it's probably a good energy for you, because the foundation is still there, but what you do within it is what has changed. And so I think that's okay. Knight of Wands in reverse. This speaks to potentially a Sagittarius. It could be in your life, but this comes under the King of Swords. And so there is a lack of action that's happening. Something is at a standstill. There's no momentum, no movement. And that is possible because you're in your head about something. And because you can't collect your thoughts in a particular way, Neptune energy, it is making you put the brakes on things. And the truth is that you are not meant to lead from your mind. You are meant to lead from your heart. That is what Aries is. It's not known for like some type of finite mental calculation where you go, okay, I've worked out the figures in such a way, and this is gonna be less risky than this other choice, and so I'm gonna go with this. That's not what you guys do. That's not what you do. You connect with your heart. You connect with what it is that will fulfill you, or what you anticipate as fulfilling you, and then you go. So I think if your mental mindscape is not all that clear, I would just take some time away from it. You may have to take like a mental vacation from those sort of things, because it's going to affect your ability to want to pursue stuff. Plain and simple. The Hierophant in reverse. This card has been coming up pretty frequently. I don't predicate what my readings are for, like your sun sign or your moon sign or your rising sign. I don't know that I would call myself a psychic, but I get very particular streams of information that sort of just like, boom, like they kind of blindside me sometimes. And like, I'll be on one particular train of thought and then something else just comes driving in and makes space. So I apologize. I'm not even sure what I was saying. The Hierophant in reverse. This card has been coming up for other signs. I think this really speaks to the Uranus and Taurus energy. And depending on where that is for different signs, But knowing that it's in the second house for you, you can feel the shift. You can feel the shift of things. You feel the sense of instability. It does come underneath that Six of Pentacles in reverse. And so remember what I said about you needing to perhaps invest more time and energy than you feel is sort of coming back to you. Or you've had to keep, I just see like putting coins in a like a slot game, like waiting for the win kind of thing. But that Hierophant is like, maybe there's this sense of uncertainty on like, is this going to pay off? Is this going to pay off? Is this the right sort of investment that I should be making at this particular time? Because, excuse me, the Hierophant also speaks to being able to have a connection with something greater than yourself. It is the traditional, traditional is such an overused word to explain this particular card. It's the commonplace association of how you connect with faith, which is like going to church and studying the Bible and participating in a church community and that sort of thing. The Hierophant speaks to that traditional way of connecting with faith. And the Hierophant in reverse, and with the Queen of Cups in reverse, I kind of want to say you're having a very difficult time connecting to your source. And I want to tell you that if you've been making external pursuits to do that, you should try turning that around and going within, for sure. Because if you were to sit with how going to church feels like more of connecting with the source than going within, and maybe you sort of dispute yourself on that particular thing, I would tell you, just don't make it anything personal. Just get scientific about it and just try it. And a lot of the time people don't know what to do once they start going inward. But I realize I'm in a community of people that are probably way more accepting about that than my family and, other people in my life are. But this sense of reciprocation, this value, this exchange, changes around money, it may call you to have a sense of certainty within you in order to carry through this time. And so you're experiencing a new way of being able to connect with that. We have the Wheel of Fortune as the next card, which is awesome. It's really talking about how karmically, and by karma, I don't mean this force outside of you. You are a part of this force. But karma really speaks to action. That's the interpretation. That's the definition or defined interpretation of what karma means. Karma is action. And so you are being provided with action that has the potential to provide lots of prosperity. And so things may be shaping up in a way that feel out of your control and out of your power, but they are very much within your control and are here to promote the best and highest good for you. And there is a sense of direction about this particular card. Like when you look at a particular spread, you can see how certain images correspond with other cards and other images. And I see this lack of faith that you may be experiencing is part of the plan. It's part of the plan. The Star in reverse is talking are you are not connecting with your inner intuition. But this as I've said in many of the other readings, if the cards are on the table, the energies are available to you. You just have to know that you have to engage with them in a particular way. And the star speaks to so many things. It's like making a wish, or consistently making an intention and believing and following with that intention wherever in ways that wherever you can. But the star card in reverse speaks to not having this connection, not being a part of it, not feeling a part of it. And the truth of it is, it's an inner knowing. It's an inner knowing, and there's no way to falsify it. There's no like faking it till you make it kind of thing. It's this inner connection with understanding that you are part of everything that is happening, and everything that is happening in some way is there because of you, influenced by you, created by you, never apart from you kind of thing. And you're within it. It is not some organism that is separate from you. You are within the energy of everything. And so what's inside of you is too. And so you're never apart from it. But I get this sense of just feeling very disconnected. And the next card is the Devil in reverse, which is in the upright really speaks to making choices that are not necessarily healthy for us. But in the reverse, it is being able to maintain some kind of sense of control over these particular things that are vices. But it's not necessarily being completely free of its energy. And I get the sense that Lilith's energy has kind of been disruptive, that Neptunian energy, that feeling things in a very finite way. I keep using the word finite. That's concrete. In a concrete way, in a tangible way. Is really, it's messing with you a bit, but I think you're able to overcome that. The Devil is that Capricorn energy, and so that sense of instability in your 10th house of career and purpose, and that Saturn return, it's probably I just get this very unstable sort of feeling within myself, and it's almost hard to put words to it. So if that's what you're experiencing, it's part of all of this. The wheel of fortune is turning. It's turning. Because I'm going to clarify the Devil card, because something between the Star card and the Devil card is not registering for me. And I want to know, I'm going to try to get greater clarity on that. Then we've got the Three of Pentacles, and which speaks to, you're being seen. This specifically refers to your work areas. You're being treated fairly. You're being treated as an equal. People are coming to you for your contributions, and everybody's working together in a very complementary way. And because Venus is in your 3rd house, and this speaks to the number of 3, things could be very copacetic is the word that I would use. So I want to know what's going on with the Devil and the Star reverse. Well, we pulled the King of Wands. There you are. in all your sexy goodness. With this card coming up, I want to remind you of how awesome you are, how much you've learned by the experiences that you've had, and how you can find not only great wisdom from those experiences, but how you've been able to carry this personal truth. It's a passion, it's a truth, it's a knowing with you through what you've experienced, and you've brought it into a place and form where you control it and it doesn't control you anymore. This sense of knowing. And so despite these energies that may be around you, this sense of feeling like you can't get control over the things that are happening, and if you do have control, it's like way too much control. It's like way more control than you're really comfortable with, and you're almost bound by it than you feel like you're holding the reins of it. And then this sense of connecting with everything and with yourself at the same time. There's this like polar sense to it. I want you to say, come back to you. If these energies are really difficult for you, come back to you. Come back to what you know. Come back to what is true for you. Do something that has the potential to make you remember who you are and how powerful you are. There's also this reference to the fire carrier. And because this is probably one of the longest readings I've done so far, I don't want to take more time than is necessary, but I would encourage you to research in mythology the fire carrier, because there are aspects throughout mythology that will resonate with you and remind you of the true power that you have within you. Okay? So, and I know what Neptunian energy feels like because I have a Pisces rising and I genuinely like Neptunian energy. But for someone who is as productive as you are and go, like Neptunian energy is just, it is way too convoluted. It's bizarre, it's abstract, and I know that it's uncomfortable. So I have the Osho Zen Tarot deck here. I don't use this for private readings. I don't, and I'm using it here because I'm the only one touching these cards. But the Osho Zen deck I purchased just for me, myself, and I, but I'm still learning it. And so I'm using it as more of the oracle card. Completion is the card that we pulled for you. And honestly, I will tell you, I didn't really get to shuffle those cards much. This card made its way out. So this card is certainly for you. I'm going to read to you what completion means. And hopefully it will provide you with a greater sense of insight than what I was able to pull for you here. Completion 21. Aha. Here is the last piece of a jigsaw puzzle is being put into its place. The position of the third eye, the place of inner perception. Even in the ever-changing flow of life, there are moments in which we come to a point of completion. In these moments, and that really speaks, by the way, sorry to interrupt the reading, the Wheel of Fortune does talk about that sense of a cycle ending and a new cycle sort of beginning. Even in the ever-changing flow of life, there are moments in which we come to a point of completion. In these moments, we are able to perceive the whole picture, the composite of all the small pieces that have occupied our attention for so long. In the finishing, we can either be in despair because we don't want the situation to come to an end, or we can be grateful and accepting of the fact that life is full of endings and new beginnings. Whatever has been absorbing your time and energy is now coming to an end. In completing it, you will be clearing the space for something new to begin, and this interval to celebrate both the end of the old and the coming of the new. Sweet. Awesome. I don't see any aces yet, so that really does speak to perhaps putting an ending or tying a bow on the things that are currently going on. So I hope you guys have enjoyed your reading. I try to do positive messages, and I try to do uplifting messages, and I try to do ones that really instill a lot of hope. And sometimes, I'm not saying your reading is lacking that at all, especially with this beautiful oracle card that was pulled, but sometimes, we're right in the thick of change, and I definitely feel that particular energy in your reading. So I will be doing mid-June readings. I hope you'll come back to see what's going on for you then, because that will give you a sense of the pace of things, at least throughout the month of June. Please do like, share, subscribe if you can. I definitely want to grow the channel, and I certainly want to connect with you. So if you'd be so kind, please do comment below where you're from, if any of the reading resonated with you, and I'll see you in mid-June. Bye.